Hi, I thought I would make this video now because it's been almost a year, so I've been feeling a little bit better about it. I don't want to get into too much detail of what my life was like, but first thing in the morning on New Year's Day this year, my dad died of a Percocet overdose. He was an addict of various things on and off since he was about 13, so well before I came into the picture. Um, one of the first things I felt was there's no use being mad at someone who's dead because he doesn't exist anymore. So in all honesty, being an atheist and not believing in an afterlife kind of helped out a lot. It's like, yeah, like, because that person's just gone now. They don't exist anymore. There's no use being mad at them. There's no use wanting to, like, talk to them because they're just gone. But still, it is hard to not feel mad that they left without apologizing for things. They left without learning better and doing better, knowing better, and admitting they were wrong about things and getting their life back on track and not harming people along the way. But that feeling of, okay, well, he's gone now, so there's nothing I can do, is sticking with me more, and it's better. And, like, honestly, if I believed in an afterlife and I believed he was, like, looking over me, like, I don't know how I deal with that. That just seems, like, really weird to me. I don't think I'm the type of person that can deal with that. It's like, I like that I don't believe that that's the case. And it does give closure, like, even though he won't be there to end up learning better and to end up apologizing, it's still like, okay, now I can figure out how to move on. And so one of the things I realized is that it's not about forgiveness. A lot of people will be like, you know, if someone does something, that you can learn to forgive them in time, but it's like, I don't think that's quite how it works. I think it's just you learn how to live without forgiving. You learn how to move on without forgiving. You learn how to keep going about your life, keep looking forward to the future, even if you don't know how to forgive. So that's what I've been learning for the last year. Lately, I've been feeling more and more like, as time goes by, as I learn to think of him as someone who isn't here anymore, who was in the past, I feel myself separated from bad things that have happened. And I see that as a good thing. I can, like, move beyond things now because he doesn't exist anymore. And I know that this might sound sad to people, but there's a lot that goes on when you have an addict parent. Like, I guess he was sober when him and my mom met, but there were times where he fell off the wagon. He's the type of person that would do anything that made him feel good, so it wasn't like one type of drug. It was like whatever he liked. He was an alcoholic. He used some narcotics. He ended up, him and my mom had a thing happen between them, and they both went on antidepressants because of that. And he had a lot of rage issues, so for me it was like necessary that he went on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication because it chilled him out a lot and made him not a ragey monster. But that's what ultimately killed him. So then there's like feelings of, well, in order for me to be alive, I needed him to get on this stuff, but he didn't know how to deal with addiction, so he just overdid it. And Yeah. So there's like differences with how I see it and how my parent or my mom and my brother see it and everything. But it is what it is, I guess. We all have different perspectives. For me, it's like I feel like I can move on in a better way now. I can distance myself from my past better. And yeah, I guess that's what I've been feeling lately. Um, what else? I was gonna say something else. Um, yeah, I think it's just, it takes time, but eventually you come to a point where you're like, okay, so since this person doesn't exist anymore and there's no way to talk to them about certain things in the past doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, but another thing I wanted to say was this is kind of why the war on drugs sucked so much, because it went after the drugs instead of the reasoning behind the addiction. People get addicted to things because of depression and trauma and abuse and so on and so forth. They don't get addicted because substances are addictive. Like, I mean, maybe there's a little bit of that in there, but generally speaking, if you're an addict, it's because you're trying to numb yourself from something. So, in terms of addiction in general, like, we're not going to solve that issue if we don't start healing depression, anxiety, trauma, abuse, neglect, whatever. Like, we really need to take a look at society, raise our kids better, don't hit them, don't yell at them, don't make them feel like their parents are acting cold toward them, and just, like, solve all the societal issues there are. There's a lot that goes into that, though. Rape, molestation, whether you're a child, whether you're an adult. There's just so much of it, and that's why addiction exists. But no one wants to take a look at that because they want to go after the drugs. It's not the drugs, it's society. But yeah, that's what I've been feeling lately. It's weird to lose a parent because it's like I'm only 27. I lost my dad when I was 26. He was 51. But, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those really weird things that makes you feel like there's a lot to learn from it. So you just kind of keep going on, seeing how you feel. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I haven't been doing YouTube or anything as much. It's just been a really weird experience. But ultimately, when I was a kid, it was like things were so rough that I kind of figured it would end up getting better eventually. And that is one way to look at it too, is like, okay, I never have to worry about this person again. I never have to fear anything again. I can just move on with a better life and distance myself from my past and look more toward the future. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. Everyone's got a different perspective. Some people are closer with their parents and it's like so devastating. For me, it was devastating in the sense that it felt like I just wasn't allowed to really have parents because addiction kind of takes that away from you. And it wasn't even just the addiction, it was using substances when you're still growing as a person can make you not be there as much and not know how to be a parent even when you're sober. So I just never felt like I really had parents. So it was kind of like a solidifying, no, you are not allowed to have parents. But at the same time, it's like, I already felt that way the whole time anyway, so now it's like the end of the book. I can close it and I can keep going on with a better future ahead of me. So, okay, that's all I wanted to say. Goodbye.